Welcome back to Network Africa. I am Adeshawa Josh. Now, the coast of Libya is still pretty much a death trap for migrants trying to cross over to Europe. And as of today, the International Organization for Migration says nearly 100 migrants are reported to have died in the Mediterranean. Unconfirmed reports from the figures were also from the IOM also says that more than enough bodies were sighted based on 2 reports. Near Libya's coast, 85 corpses in one area and 10 in another. A total of 557,899 migrants and refugees have arrived in Europe across the sea this year, and 2,989 people have died attempting to cross into that continent. Still coming out of Libya, the political stalemate in that country may be exacerbated as the parliament, recognized by the international community, has decided to extend its term beyond October the 20th. And the move to extend the parliament's mandate was passed by 112 out of 131 members of parliament. This move could complicate efforts by the UN and Western powers to bring peace to the political crisis rocking that country. The parliament spokesman said it was still supporting UN-sponsored talks that resumed in Morocco this week. Libya has had 2 rival parliaments and governments backed by rival militia groups since last summer. A loose alliance of militias, including Islamists, seized the capital Tripoli in August 2014 and reinstated the General National Congress, forcing the existing and internationally recognized government to flee to the eastern city of Tobruk. Ghana's judiciary has finally washed itself clean of the corruption allegations that rocked it a few weeks ago. 7 out of 12 High Court judges who were indicted of giving bribes have been suspended by the government. The decision is part of a response to a 3-hour film first screened in the capital last month that has caused an uproar in the West African country because it showed judges accepting bribe money through intermediaries. The documentary has put Chief Justice Georgina Wood and other judicial leaders under pressure to show a forceful public response. Now, the council previously suspended 22 junior judges who appeared in the video and investigated the conduct of High Court judges to see if there is a case for their impeachment. Meanwhile, some of the judges have denied wrongdoing and have filed a challenge in court, saying their suspension had no legal basis because documents relating to the video that were submitted by the journalist were not made available to them. Well, not much of good news has come out from Egypt in recent times, but the country's tourism industry is something to cheer about. Egypt's tourism industry is expected to post moderate growth this year, and the country hopes a global advertising campaign will revive the sector. Well, before the country plunged into chaos, about 9.9 million tourists visited Egypt last year, a far cry from the 4.7 million that visited in 2010.
After years of political turmoil and militant violence in Egypt, the tourism minister, Hisham Zazu, says Egypt's tourism industry is expecting a moderate growth this year. Last year, 9.9 million tourists visit Egypt, a far cry from the 14.7 million that visited in 2010, before an uprising the following year triggered turmoil in the land of ancient sites and sea resorts. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has restored some stability since the army toppled Islamist President Mohamed Morsi in 2013 following mass protests against his rule, but not enough to persuade large numbers of foreigners that it is safe to return. Minister Zazu expects around 10 million tourists this year, or slightly higher, 1 million less than the previous forecast of 11 million. Zazu expects tourism receipts to range between $7.5 to $8 billion by the end of the year. Receipts once peaked at $12.5 billion. Tourism is a major source of hard currency in Egypt, where foreign reserves have tumbled from $36 billion before the uprising to $18 billion at the end of August. The rapid advance of Islamic State, a group seen as more extreme than Al-Qaeda, has worried governments across the region, including Egypt. Egyptian officials say authorities have made great progress in the battle against militants and accused Western media of exaggerating security threats. Egyptian tourism has survived big setbacks in the past.
And right here in Nigeria, it was like a proverbial masquerade whose face would never be seen. But at long last, that masquerade has been unmasked by the Senate, as the Senate President today read out the list of ministerial nominees sent by President Buhari. Well, one by one, that is, they were revealed, most known, and a few making their debut on the national scene. Senator Bukola Saraki unveiled the names of the men and women that are expected to make up the president's cabinet if they scale through their screening on Tuesday next week. Some of the notable names on the list are former governors Babatunde Fashola, Kayode Fayemi, Rotimi Amechi, Dr. Chris Ngige, and most of them also are still on your screen. You have Kemi Adeosun, former Commissioner of Ogun State. Abubakar Malami is a senior advocate of Nigeria. Emmanuel Kachiku, GMD NNPC. Aldu Ogbe, former National Chairman PDP. Senator Hadi Sidika, former federal lawmaker. Ibrahim U. Jibril. You have Udoma, who's also former federal lawmaker right there. Ahmed M. Ibeto, former Deputy Governor, Niger State. Lai Mohammed, National Publicity Secretary, APC. You also have Chief Adebayo Shitu. You have a legal practitioner, Solomon Dalong, Special Advisor to the United Nations, Secretary General, Unpost, 2015, Development Planning, Mrs. Amina Ibrahim.
I don't know what to say because those are names that are known to Nigerians, and we were expecting sense, but we didn't see sense that we were. But it's okay. We will see. We will look at the list. We will look at them. We will have a good screening. Like I said the other day, it's taking quite a while to appoint the ministers, and when it eventually came out, there's nothing so special. These are people we know before. These are people we have known in this country. So there's nothing so special about the list.
It is my belief that the president has taken his time to identify these individuals to be members of his cabinet and to drive this administration and ensure that we all experience the much expected change. I don't think Mr. President wants to do experiment. So by bringing new people or surprises, maybe he wants to experiment. He wants to start job immediately. So he's using those who have experience, those who have track record, those who have experience in governance. And I think that is the best thing for us to do. This is not time for experimentation. This is not the type of trials. This is time of real work.
We'll take another short break on Network Africa. South Africa asked ICC for more time to explain non-arrest of Sudan President Omar al-Bashir.